how India's Prime Minister was welcomed in Papua New Guinea and how he was greeted by Prime Minister James Marape has taken the internet by storm. In the video, the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea can be seen greeting the Indian Prime Minister with lots of warmth and respect. As noted by a leading Indian media outlet, in an exemplary gesture of respect, Papua New Guinea Prime Minister James Marape touched the feet of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who arrived in the island nation on Sunday. Netizens are reacting in all sorts of ways. As expected, India haters are using this opportunity to mock India's tradition of touching feet. Others consider this as a respectful gesture, while many are starting to feel that India's cultural traditions are now going global. But before you come to any conclusion, it is important that you learn more about Papua New Guinea, its Prime Minister, and the country's relations with India. And yes, a lot of it is quite shocking. To start with, take a look at this. As reported by France 24, Papua New Guinea's Prime Minister James Marape promised that within 10 years, his compatriots will live in the richest black Christian nation in the world. Yes, you heard that right. Christian nation. Well, that's not a surprise. Want to know why? Well, Papua New Guinea's, or PNG's, total population is estimated to be around 9.8 million. And according to the census in 2011, 98% of citizens identified as Christian. Yes, 98% Christian. But this 98% Christian country faces some of the worst problems you can imagine. The nation has been described as one of the world's poorest countries where violent crime and corruption are endemic. It has also been labeled one of the worst places for gender-based violence in the world, and the country's children have been described as among the most vulnerable in the world. As mentioned here, in Papua New Guinea, according to the law, Christian religious instruction in public schools is compulsory. But it seems that compulsory Christian religious instruction in public schools and having a 98% Christian population cannot guarantee peace. Around the world, discrimination of Christian by Christians on the basis of denomination and violence among various Christian denominations has killed millions. Yes, they say that 98% of the population in Papua New Guinea is Christian, right? But then see this. 26% are Roman Catholic, 18% Evangelical Lutheran, 13% Seventh-day Adventist, 10% Pentecostal, and several others that are also mentioned here. It has been observed that in Papua New Guinea, the desire for supremacy of one Christian denomination over the others and against religious minorities could potentially cause a holy war. Yes, the harsh truth is that many Christians do not just invalidate the religions of non-Christians, they also discriminate against fellow Christians on the basis of their denomination. From Europe and America to Africa, this can be seen almost everywhere. But why is it that India's Prime Minister, who is perceived as a prominent Hindu figure, has received so much respect from Muslim nations, Christian majority nations, and also from PNG? Just take a look at this. The Indian Prime Minister was conferred Saudi Arabia's highest civilian honor, the King Abdulaziz Shah. Also, the highest civilian honor of Afghanistan. Also, the highest honor of Palestine, awarded to foreign dignitaries. Then, Russia's highest civilian honor. Also, the highest honor of the Maldives, awarded to foreign dignitaries. Then, the prestigious King Hamad Order of the Renaissance in 2019. The honor was conferred by Bahrain. Also, Legion of Merit by the US government. And yes, India's neighbor Bhutan has also honored Prime Minister Modi with the highest civilian decoration. As India is rising economically and reclaiming its past glory, it is natural that the country and its leaders are expected to receive more respect around the world. India's rise as a prominent global player is quite noticeable, and its good track record of helping other nations does a lot of good for its reputation.
उसमें भी बाधाएं आ रही हैं, जिन्हें हम अपना विश्वसनीय मानते थे। पता चला कि जरूरत के समय वो हमारे साथ नहीं खड़े थे। भारत आपकी प्राथमिकताओं का सम्मान करता है, आपका डेवलपमेंट पार्टनर होने पर गर्व महसूस करता है। मानवीय सहायता हो या फिर आपका विकास, भारत को आप भरोसेमंद पार्टनर के रूप में देख सकते हैं, विश्वास कर सकते हैं।
Yes, India is seen as the prominent voice of the global south. Yes, India is considered a reliable voice of the marginalized, oppressed, and those who were colonized. And yes, India has delivered what many others could only preach. For example, India has provided humanitarian aid and disaster relief to PNG from time to time. From drugs for HIV patients and computers and peripherals, India's contribution in the development of PNG can't be overlooked. In a world that is driven by geopolitics and selfish interests, India's willingness to help countries without ulterior motives seems very refreshing. The people of Papua New Guinea have already suffered a lot due to the presence of the European colonial criminals. British colonists, German colonists, and the occupation by Australian forces. The country has seen it all. And yes, Papua New Guinea, one of the most diverse in the world, was Christianized as European missionaries and European colonizers brought Christianity, a religion closely associated with colonization and the destruction of traditional religions and culture. Today, Papua New Guinea is facing a difficult situation. Both China and the West seem to be trying their best to exploit the nation to serve their own geopolitical interests. According to Chen Hong, an expert on Australian and PIC studies at East China Normal University, the US is attempting to mobilize countries in the West Pacific from south to north to create an anti-China front and serve American military adventurism. On the other hand, many in the West fear what has been described as China's strategic encirclement of Australia. In this game of hard power, muscle flexing, and geopolitical dominance between China and the West, there shouldn't be any surprise if Papua New Guinea sees India with a lot of hope and promise. And yes, India, another heavyweight, has what it takes to offer the much-needed balancing act. Again, who else but India? See you again.